Hello, everyone. Hello, Glenn, Right Place, Wrong Person, Ban, Anna, Unicorn Pause, JVH, Jojo. How is everyone doing? Hola, Marcos. ¿Te puedo mandar un saludo? Sí, aquí está mi saludo. Miss my elevator music? We love the elevator music. How are you? I'm good. Um, what I'm about to do today, I wanted to do like this is like a music marketing analysis, even though I'm not an expert, okay? I'm not an expert on anything, but I wanted to do this with every single album. And unfortunately, I was only able to prepare the BTS albums and not the solo albums. So yeah, House for a Dog, he's good. Just sleeping. I'm going to be driving and listening as I go to work, so I won't comment. That's totally fine. I also do that when I watch other people's streams. Jin shouldn't have chosen that song as a title track promotion wise, but authentic wise, it's perfect. That is an interesting thing because that is the reason, like that entire conversation with Jin's album and which title track should have been the title track or which song should have been the title track. That's why um I decided to do this. But actually I had this idea for a while now. But now it's like the perfect time. A question that I've always had is why BTS doesn't usually do pre-release singles. Black Swan is the only one, I think. So actually I went back to check and BTS has quite a few pre-release singles, but only like a couple, only like a couple of them. But yeah, the most known as a pre-release single is definitely Black Swan. I think they didn't release pre-release singles because that is more like a Western thing. In K-pop, artists before BTS did Black Swan as a pre-release single, K-pop idols didn't really do pre-release single and then lead single. They did title track and then follow-up single. I'm so excited because I want to ask them one day how they decide on which song to add on the tour track list and which ones to retire. So seeing the title of the stream is so exciting. Yes, and actually I have some points here because there are some songs that they decide to do as promoted, what is it? Promoted B-sides. And I ask why this promoted B-side and not this other song. And I believe that's one of the reasons is because they make some songs for specifically for the tour. So we're going to talk about that as well. Is tonight Jimmy Fallon? Yes. Tonight's Jimmy Fallon. And I'm just so excited because I already talked about this, how much I love how much I love when BTS goes to the Jimmy Fallon show. I just think it's fun. I don't know. Tomorrow 6 p.m. KST we have live voting on Mnet Plus app. Please vote for Jin. Um, Hi Bora, do you think Jin and Hobie didn't promote on Korean music shows just because they were too busy with the tour or for other reasons? That's a good question. Of course, I'm not them, so I don't know, but in my opinion, I think that like they've said a million times, Korean music shows are very exhausting And I believe the return in terms of money is nothing. It's nothing. I've seen other K-pop idols saying that it's like $50 or something. It's nothing. It's nothing what they get. So they basically go there for promotion. BTS doesn't need to do that promotion if it's that exhausting. If it weren't that exhausting, I feel like they would do it all the time. But it is very exhausting. It's very hard. So when they do, especially during this solo era, when they've done, so for example, Jungkook and Taeyeon, they've done music shows, but they've done like maybe 1 week and that's it. There's one performance of seven and one performance of 3D in Korean music shows. So yeah, I feel like they just don't want to do them anymore. They do them from time to time because sure is a way of performing as well, and they want to do it and they want to meet armies. But yeah, like BTS Suga 7 is saying, the recording times are awful too, and that is true. So the recording times are awful. There's not like, if they can perform somewhere else, they're going to perform somewhere else. That's what I'm trying to say. Like at this point, so many armies joke that at this point, Jimmy Fallon is their Inkigayo or Music Bank. And I agree in a funny way because that's where they promote first now. When before it used to be Korean music shows. That was the way they would promote. That was exposure. But now it's BTS giving exposure to these music shows instead of the music shows giving exposure to BTS. BTS goes to those shows from time to time because they want to connect with ARMY, but that is it. There's no other benefit. Can you please tell me when are the lives? I kind of miss them sometimes. So it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday and Wednesday 4 p.m. ET, so Eastern time, and Fridays 6 p.m. ET. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Sorry, sorry, we're so busy. Okay, so like I said, I had this idea because I saw some conversations about Jin's album Echo and which song could have worked the best as the title track. And also, Jin talked about this. He had his favorite song that in the end he decided actually the best song for the single is this other song. And I agree with his final decision. But this is an interesting conversation that I want to have as well because I feel like it's so, so fun. They don't need to do those shows. At this point, they don't need to do those shows. But they do from time to time because I feel like, I mean, they've said it, like they do it for army, like they like performing in front of people, but the recording schedule of all of that is horrible. Um and like I said, there's nothing in return. So they do it for armies. And also if they can go to Jimmy Fallon every single time that they release something, which is what they've been doing during chapter 2, um sure. I mean, it's like a more calm schedule. So I think it's fun. Okay. So let's just start because we have quite a few albums. So first, let's clarify some differences because these are the terms that I'm going to be using. So um we have a pre-release single, we have a title track or lead single, we have a follow-up single, and we have a promoted B-side. Hi Bora, I'm late. You're not late. I just started literally like 10 minutes ago, and I'm just starting um this topic, so you're not late. So the first three are actual singles. So those are basically the songs that have all of the promotion, and they usually have a music video and live performances, and those are the songs that they are trying to push the most. The pre-release single is a single that goes, of course, before the actual single, before the title track, before the lead single. And it's mostly done to create some anticipation for the lead single and the overall album. The lead single is usually released alongside the album, and it is the most promoted song. It's the song that they want to blow up. It's the song that they want to everyone to listen to, and the song that represents the album the most in many ways. In K-pop, the lead single is called a title track, but it's also you can use any term. I use title track, I use lead single, I use both. It depends on the industry. Then a follow up, this is a follow up single. This is also a single, so it can also have a music video. It can have like a strong promotions. Usually, a follow up, they try to send to radios as well and stuff like that. And then we have the promoted B side, which is a term that I've only heard on K pop, which is in K-pop they divide the album into the title track, and then the rest is are the B-sides. And sometimes they choose one B-side to promote alongside the title track. This is in K-pop. In K-pop they have usually a music video and one song that they want to push very hard. And when they go to, for example, Korean K-pop TV shows, K-pop music shows, they perform the title track, but they also perform the promoted B side. A lot of people are saying hi. Maybe they you guys just joined, which is cool because I just started literally. So hi Joey, Diana, Annie, Annie, and then Cynthia, Cosmos, Stephanie, and Leah. And what do you put here? So yeah, I don't know. I wanted to analyze everyone joining now. Yes, out of nowhere, people started joining. I'm just so excited for today because it's Jen's um it's interview and performance at Jimmy Fallon, which is fun because I'm going to be completely honest. When it's just a performance, they usually used to do that in 2017. So, for example, they went to Jimmy Kimmel, but there was no interview, there was only a performance. And it's like, okay, fun. I'm going to watch the performance, but I'm not as excited when there's an interview and performance because that means that the main character is BTS, like the only character. And I'm just so excited. Mm, yeah, so a lot of people just joined. That's interesting. Okay, so everybody knows the difference between a pre-release single, title track or lead single, follow-up single, and a promoted B-side. Is follow-up and promoted B-side not the same? So these are just mostly, I believe they are not because when you go to Wikipedia, is that how you say it, Wikipedia? And even when you go to K-pop forums or BTS forums or different sites, there is a difference. A follow up usually has promotions involved. They usually, like, they can even send it to radio because they are considered a single. And a single is a song that is going to be promoted. They want this song to reach a lot of audiences, like a big audience. And yeah, single is like a completely different thing from a B side. Now, promoted B side, this is a K pop term. This is a K-pop term, and it's considered not a single. That is the difference. Like the first three are all different types of singles, but the promoted B-side um, is considered just a song that is not a single, but they will promote it in K-pop shows. This is why it's a K-pop term mostly. It's a K-pop term. I wouldn't want Jimmy Kimmel to interview them again anyway, because he's, in my opinion, yeah, he's not. I don't like him. Like, I'm fine. Yes, I'm fine with be considered a promoted B-side because there's no music video, there's no promotion, they didn't send it to radios, there's no remixes, there's nothing. It's just a song that they decided to promote in a show. So, a promoted B-side in K-pop terms. Okay, so let's start. So, we have one second here. So, let's start with Too Cool for School. So Too Cool for School this is a single album, which means that this is not an EP. This is not a full length album. This is just a single album because if you really think about it, there are no songs here. There's only 3 songs. We're Bulletproof Part 2, No More Dream, and Like. So the title track or the lead single is No More Dream. Then we have We Are Bulletproof Part 2, which is the follow-up, and Like, which is a promoted B-side. The other tracks are not considered songs because they are an intro, a skit, which is just them talking, an interlude, which is just an instrumental, and outro, circle, room, cipher, which is, again, they are just talking, so it's not considered like a song. So technically, this is a single album, only 3 songs. Now, I believe that No More Dream as a title track was perfect because BTS, when they debuted, they had like a very strong thesis statement. And that is, we are students or we want to send our message to other students. And it's about the school system and the expectations that grown-ups have on us as students and as young people. So No More Dream is exactly about that. It established who they were at the time. Exactly. That's number 1. Number 2, No More Dream follows the theme of the album. A school, basically. It's a school. That is the theme. Then No More Dream was something unique for the industry. Because if you really think about it, when you go back to this time, there were a lot of like edgy and cool and sexy concepts, but this is more rebellious than anything. So your journalism is showing. It's okay. Like I sometimes I just need to see what they are trying to do with their releases just for fun. So yeah, I believe that No More Dream was a little bit unique for the industry at the time. And it was real. Yes. It had like a very real, strong message. And that was also kind of like revolutionary and different. So before it starts again, so in my opinion, No More Dream was the right title track. Like it was perfect. I do wonder about We Are Bulletproof Part 2 and Like because We Are Bulletproof Part 2 is the follow-up single and it has a music video and everything. And it's like, I'm totally okay with that. However, it's more of the same kind of, and this is not me criticizing anything. This is not me criticizing anything. This is me just wondering why. Why release more of the same when Like shows a different side of BTS? This is my first thought. But then thinking about it is like they are just starting and showing versatility at the very beginning is like maybe not the best decision. Maybe they had to solidify who they were. So No More Dream is like a performance focused song. And We Are Bulletproof Part 2 is also the same. I remember that at the beginning, I confused the choreographies for No More Dream and We Are Bulletproof Part 2. So maybe they wanted to just make it very clear. Like, this is us. We are about performance and youth and school and all of this. So, wait a second. It's going so fast. Going to make it slower. Okay. So, yeah, I maybe would have loved to see like us with a music video. Like with a music video, that would have been crazy. Um, because it's my favorite. But I understand what they did with Bulletproof Part 2 as the follow up single with a music video and promotions and all of that. It was more of the same, yes, but they are just starting. So I'm like, it's fine. They mention that often in Beyond the Scene, the struggle between expressing the full range of their creativity and finding a trademark sound. Yes. And we know that BTS is extremely creative and they want to do like so many genres and sounds and styles of performances. But this is the very beginning. This is the first project. So I believe they had to do like a similar music video and performance and follow up for the second single and music video. It had to be similar to solidify who they were. Um So yeah, in my opinion, all of this is perfect. And like as a promoted B-side, they still perform it from time to time. So I believe all of this was okay. And I like it. I like these decisions and I agree with this overall. Now you may think, am I going to agree with everything? Actually, no. I disagree with some decisions. And this is not me disrespecting BTS or their decisions or anything like that. They do things for a reason. This is just me analyzing a little bit their decisions. Just from a curious point. I'm not criticizing, okay? Like, I don't want people to get crazy. I'm not criticizing their decisions. I'm just saying, what if they've done this other thing? Because I would have done it this other way. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I changed my mind. So for this one, I'm going to say I agree 100%. For a start, I think it was a good decision. Yes, I totally agree. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Oh, Are You Late Too? So we have, this is their first EP, and the title track or lead single was N.O. And then they had Attack on Bangtan and Palo Gangsang as promoted B-sides. The actual promoted B-side was Attack on Bangtan. They performed Attack on Bangtan alongside N.O. every single time, but they performed Palo Gangsang from time to time. They didn't always perform this song. And I'm reading your comments, Marcos. I'm just ignoring them because they are too much sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so my first question about this is, why is there not follow-up single for this second album? They did a follow-up single for the first one, so why not for the second one? So Amanda says NO had a huge message, and maybe that is true. Maybe also I'm thinking about I'm thinking about budget for some reason. Budget is also an important thing. Let's remember, Big Hit Entertainment, almost bankrupt company. Like they were, this was like their last chance of creating a group that was successful. And they didn't have like a lot of resources. Maybe if they were from the big three, they could have done another music video, a second music video. Probably broke AF, exactly. So maybe they said, we can only make one music video for now. We cannot do two music videos this time. So we're just going to do one music video, which I totally understand. I think NO was the right decision for the title track. Then Attack on Bangtan, I believe it was a good B-side because it introduces the BTS members. Do you remember that Attack on Bangtan, they each have like a little line of each of them like showing a little bit of their personality, who they are. So I believe it's a good decision for a promoted B-side. However, if they had the budget, I don't know why, but I don't see Attack on Bangtan with a music video. I don't see Attack on Bangtan as a follow-up single. So I think as a promoted B-side, it was perfect. Like there it doesn't need a music video, in my opinion. I don't see Attack on Bangtan with a music video. We got an Attack on Bangtan music video too. I don't think so. Okay, Bad Coffee. Yes, so that's the other thing. This album has amazing songs, but we need to see not just about the music video material, but also if they can be lead singles promoted to the masses. Um, yeah, so I don't see Attack on Bangtan as a follow up. I do see Paldo Gang with a music video. I do see Paldo Gang with a music video. It gives me kind of like old school, like 90s. They could have had like a 90s style of music video. It would have been fun. Paldo Gang with a 90s style of music video. However, once again, we need to think about their image. And at the very beginning, they were going for this specific image of rebellious teenagers, rebellious people, young people with about school and all of this. So 90s music video, when this is their image, I think it would have worked. So I disagree with my own idea. Like I wanted Palo Gansan with a 90s music video, but now that I'm seeing it, it's like, no, it wouldn't have worked with their first image. Wasn't Coffee a cover? So that is a confusion that a lot of armies have. Coffee is not a cover. The hook, like the chorus, is from another song, yes, but that is not called a cover because all of the raps and all of the verses are new except for the chorus. Maybe Weon, I don't feel like, remember that at the very beginning, BTS was promoting for K-pop audiences, and I don't feel like they would have enjoyed Weon. We like Weon. I like Weon, but I don't see, come on, my phone. I don't see K-pop audiences watching a Weon music video and listening to Weon. If there was not enough money for a music video, it's still good to pick the two songs to promote during music shows to show their other style ability. Yes, because um, Attack on Bangtan and Paldo Gansan show more like a performance that is more for K-pop fans, and that was their target audience at the very beginning. Weon is too different for K-pop, I guess. Yes, I think so. So we like Weon, but I don't know if this could have worked at the very beginning for K-pop audiences. I don't know. I'm not sure. So I agree with all of this because even if I'm trying to think of a second music video, I don't see any other of these songs with a music video, if that makes sense. I forget, did Attack on Bangtan or Paldo and Sang had a choreo? Yes, but not like a strong, difficult choreos. Still energetic choreographies, but yeah, they did. Attack on Bangtan, I remember specifically. I don't even see We On with a choreo, to be honest. Yes, and specifically at this time, BTS are promoting in Korean shows, and they need a choreo. They need a show factor and the wow factor. And We On with a choreo, like it just doesn't fit. I feel like this is the only. Nah, your predictions are wrong. It would have worked. Oh my goodness. You know what? You are also right about that. Because maybe it could have worked. I don't know. If I Rule the World, I don't see If I Rule the World as a lead single or as a follow up single. I feel like this album truly does not have a follow up single. I feel like it doesn't. So, overall, I also agree with the decisions made here. Title track and O, Attack on Bangtan promoted B-side, Paldo Gangsang promoted B-side but not as promoted, I guess. Um, I agree with everything so far. Okay, so next we have a Skool Luv Affair. And this is, I believe, another EP, so their second EP. The title track is Boy in Love, and Just One Day is the follow up. So this is the first time when they are doing something different. Haruman. So do you guys agree that this was the right decision? Like Boy in Love as the title track and Just One Day as the follow up? Because let's remember, Boy in Love was actually nominated for some K-pop music shows. Like it was a little bit successful. They didn't win. They didn't win a single one of those, but they were nominated at least. And then Just One Day is such a big song for all armies. Yeah, so mostly everyone agrees, except for Marcos. Marcos disagree. So in my opinion, I also agree because Boy in Love, once again, this is just the first year of BTS. BTS cannot go all crazy with these different with these different decisions and going like too different to who they are. Boy in Love solidifies BTS's image. It solidifies their previous releases as well. It's more of I feel like Boy in Love is like the previous singles but stronger. Like the ultimate form of this type of music so far because then they get better, I believe. But yeah, so Just One Day shows finally a new side of BTS, shows the romantic side of BTS. They can do R&B and not just be angry all the time because so far in every single in every single music video, they've been angry. So for Just One Day, they are finally happy. They are finally in love. Soft side, yes. They're finally happy. They're not angry anymore. So it shows that at least they can also be romantic and soft and all of this. And it shows their versatility, of course. Um, I do see for some reason that tomorrow it gives me the most beautiful moment in life vibes. So it seems like they were always going to go that route, but they were not there yet. So they didn't dare, like they didn't try to use Tomorrow as a follow up single or a promoted B side. They just didn't. But I think it could have been cool because I love Tomorrow. Then a Spine Breaker as a promoted B side, I don't really see it because Spine Breaker is fun but a little too experimental for K-pop fans. That's why I believe Jump as the promoted B side is just perfect because Jump is fun and it shows once again a new side of BTS. They are angry and rebellious, they are romantic and soft, and now they are also fun. So, three great decisions there. Um, but I do feel like Tomorrow could have been a great third single or at least a promoted B side because Tomorrow is that song. So yeah, so far I actually agree with all of these decisions. BTS really, I feel like all of this, like so far, debuted BTS, like a school trilogy BTS. Good decision after good decision. I don't disagree with anything. I don't disagree with anything so far. Tomorrow deserve, yes. Tomorrow's choreo deserved a music video alone. The song is so good. Yes, and that is why I'm saying I feel like Tomorrow could really have been a follow up or a promoted B-side. But I understand. I understand. Maybe they were not ready to push a song like Tomorrow yet. They do like in the next couple of years, but not so far. Tomorrow had a choreo? Yes, it had. They made smooth transitions with their sound and image. Yes, totally. Okay, so then BTS releases Dark and Wild. And of course, we have the iconic Danger as the title track or lead single and War of Hormone as the follow up. Now, let me bring up my notes because I have something to say about Dark and Wild. Actually, I wanted to do this entire thing because I wanted to talk about the decisions for Dark and Wild. Now, as we know, BTS worked on Dark and Wild for not a long time, but they worked so hard on it. They went through so much trouble to release this music video and record this album. And this album is so strong. Like this is technically their debut album because the first three are projects, are like their debut projects, but they are not debut albums. This is BTS's first studio album, full length studio album. This is the album. This is their debut. And it is like an amazing debut. And I disagree with the decisions for the singles. And let me explain why. I'm not judging them. I'm not judging them, okay? This is just my opinion. Please don't get mad. So let's start with Danger. Danger is the perfect title track lead single. No complaints there. I believe this is the ultimate form of rebellious BTS. Danger is the ultimate form of rebellious BTS in everything, in the choreography, in terms of choreography, even in terms of fashion, in terms of the song, of the sound, everything. Perfect decision. Now, War of Hormone as the follow-up single, it's I can't. I don't I even have like an entire video plan defending War of Hormone because it's not like I understand that it was a kind of like controversial. I don't really see it as that a lot. So my problem with War of Hormone is not about that. My problem with War of Hormone is that why is it the follow up and not other of any of these other amazing songs? So for example, in my opinion, War of Hormone is a good song and it's fun, but it doesn't represent the album. If you listen to War of Hormone and you go to the album, you will see that the album doesn't necessarily sound like War of Hormone. Actually, War of Hormone is the song that belongs the least here in this album, but it does belong. But it's just not representative of the album, in my opinion. Maybe I'm going to change my mind, but that's okay. Um, Let Me Know and Rain are both slower songs, but that is the overall vibe of the album. R&B is all over the album. So Could You Turn Off Your Cell Phone is R&B, Embarrassed is R&B, 24/7 Heaven is R&B. And they choose War of Hormone. So when you watch the music video, War of Hormone, and listen to the song, you maybe expect the same for the entire album. And War of Hormone is a good song, but it's not the vibe of the album. And it maybe kind of promoted the album not in the best way. Maybe if they promoted an R&B song, maybe people would say, "Wait, this is an R&B album." So I don't know. Then Look Here and So For More are also a better choice for a follow-up because it's fun R&B. It's more R&B, but it's like fun R&B. But the album title makes sense. I mean, Dark and Wild. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're right. Hip Hop File as a follow-up. I don't see Hip Hop File as a single. My point is that I do like War of Hormone, but the majority of this album, like even I would say like half of the album is hip hop and the other half is R&B. We have the hip hop representative, which is Danger. I would have loved an R&B representative. I feel like Let Me Know could have been a good representative, but Look Here is also fun. Look Here could have been Look Here is more like a fun R&B more than a sad R&B. So Look Here. And if they wanted to do like more um soft or sad, I would say Let Me Know or Rain. Look Here is so iconic. Yes, it is. I feel like it could have worked with a music video and everything. A lot of them have potential. I can't choose one. Yes, my point is that I totally agree. It's very hard to choose just one for a follow up. It's just that I could have for example, I have three options for my follow ups. I would have chosen Let Me Know, Rain, or Look Here. Let Me Know, Rain, or Look Here. Is it hard to choose between those three or even like the rest? Yes. But War of Hormone is not on my list for a single. It's just not. And I love War of Hormone. But maybe War of Hormone could have been a promoted B-side, not a follow-up single. That is what I disagree with. But once again, I also understand the other side. Like someone said, the title of the album is Dark and Wild, and the two like rebellious songs maybe are Danger and War of Hormones. So they both they're both great decisions. War of Hormones surprised me a lot the first time I heard it. Yeah, so War of Hormone it is very fun. It's very fun. And the choreography too, yes. And that is why okay, if they want to have like a choreography, War of Hormone with a choreography as a promoted B side, but as a follow up single, a single is very strong because it's going to have a music video, it's going to be promoted and pushed and all of this sent to radios. In this case, we're talking about K pop and we're talking about baby BTS. They don't have the money to send any song to radios, but you know what I'm trying to say. Make a poll about, okay, let me see. Is War of Hormone is War of Hormone is War of Hormone the best decision for a follow-up single? Yes or no? I I have my opinion. And like I said, I may change my opinion. I may change my opinion. Um War of Hormone is just different in the way the song builds and flows, though. Like one continuous long breath, so maybe from the producing side, that was an impressive song. Yeah, I see that. I mean, I agree. From the producing side, it is an impressive song. Um, I just feel like it's not selling the album correctly. The album is so good and it has so many amazing R&B songs. Having an R&B song as a follow-up, in my opinion, could have been amazing. And it could have sold the album better. I don't know. No skip album? Yes, no skip album. Okay, so is War of Hormone the best decision for a follow-up single? 57% say yes and 43% said no. Okay, so the majority agreed that this is fine. Like it was the right decision. It was the best decision for a follow-up single. So I respect everyone's opinion. And once again, don't misread. Is that a word? Misread my passion for this topic. as criticism. This is not criticism. We're just having fun, okay? Like, I'm not criticizing BTS for choosing World of Hormone as a follow up. I like World of Hormone as a follow up. I'm just saying that I would have loved, like, if I was BTS, I would have chosen another one. Misinterpret. Yes, misinterpret. And we're just having fun. Like, this topic is so ridiculous also. So don't take it too seriously, please. I know someone's going to get mad, but it's every single time. So, yeah, I'm going to close the poll because now it's 60%. 60% agree with the decision. War of Hormone is the best decision for a follow up. Yeah, it's fun to share our different opinions. Yes, especially because we all love BTS. So, there's not going to be hate sent anywhere. Okay, so let's continue. So, next we have a completely um change in image. Wait, where are my notes? So for this era of albums, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, BTS first releases The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1, and they changed their image completely. And now their thesis statement is about youth. They even get rid of their school uniforms and they start dressing even as young people, like, yeah, young people in their early 20s. And they sing about youth, they talk about youth. Their message is for the youth, so it's all about youth. And I Need You represents that image especially. So from this album, I Need You is actually the title track or lead single, and Dope is the follow up. Converse High was a promoted B side, but we're going to talk about that in a second. Now, what I think about I Need You as the title track or lead single is that for Korea, it was the right decision because at this point, they were entering America music industry a little bit, like very slowly, but they were still promoting mainly in Korea. And the fact that I Need You is BTS's first K-pop show win says a lot because this is the type of music that the Korean general public is listening to. It is a very strong song, so it makes sense why it was successful. This was a very good choice for the lead single with the music video and everything. It was a good choice. Yes, because it shows perfectly the direction they wanted to go. Yes, because here's the other thing. Some people may believe that maybe Dope could have been the perfect lead single because while I Need You was successful in Korea with Korean audiences, Dope was successful with mainstream global audiences, with the Western public. And it was huge. Like Dope was huge, especially with Western audiences. So maybe you could think BTS needed to do Dope, needed to have Dope as the title track. But I disagree. I feel like BTS first needed to start winning in Korea because that is where they are promoting for the majority of the time in 2015. And it worked. They won for the first time a K-pop music show with I Need You. So I agree with these overall decisions. Um, Now, what I like about Dope is that it really opened the doors for the global general public because you will see from this point on, BTS does this. BTS has a title track that is mostly for one specific audience, and Dope, which is specifically a song like Dope that is specifically for Western audiences. And it really works. You will see in their next albums, they do this strategy every single time. So they do a music video and a song about their image, like the new image that they want to send to the public, and another song, usually a follow up, which is like Dope, that they are going to try to target to mainstream audiences. Dope was perfect as a follow up because as a single, I don't think it would represent the overall album completely. Yes, I Need You represented this new image. The music matched the image, and that is the most important. Dope was fun and it had like a very trendy sound at the time, but it didn't represent this new image the best. Wait. One second. It was a good decision to appeal to both audiences. This is making me realize how much they were experimenting back then. The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1 worked and they learned from it. Yes, this was a great decision. Also, I believe it's because they had more budget this time. So they had two music videos. One second, I need some water. So they had two music videos that are not similar to each other. Because with their debut album, they are very similar, and We're Bulletproof Part 2 is very simple, like a very simple music video. But I Need You and Dope are very complicated music videos, and they show like different images, but they at least have like they have a reason. They have a reason. BTS shines for this. Title tracks are cool and whatever, but album will have so many quote unquote better songs. Most other artists' albums are opposite of this. I mean, yeah, sometimes people have good title tracks and then you go to the album and it's like super boring. But I like that BTS has good lead singles and then you go to the album and is just as amazing, if not even more. But I do see the way I would choose lead singles and the way they choose the lead singles is which can work with mainstream audiences. I thought Big Hit was at the brink of bankruptcy at this time, or was it before making these music videos? No, it was before. I believe the real bankruptcy was when BTS were trainees. So 2009, 2010, maybe those years. But when they started, they had little money, but they were not like at the point of bankruptcy. And by this time, they started actually growing. By 2015, BTS, no, Big Hit was competing, was surpassing like some of the big three. I believe they were second by 2016. So they were really getting there. By this time, they were really getting there. They were doing good. So yeah, I do see that Converse High as a promoted B side. It was a fun decision. um, they just wanted, I guess, like a fun choreography for people to also not just listen to but watch, because we know that K-pop performances, when I say K-pop audiences, K-pop songs, like this song is more for K-pop audiences, I mean that it is a song with a choreography that can be replicated by K-pop fans, um a choreography that is like easy to replicate, that is fun to replicate, and that it has like colorful clothes and it's happy. That's what I mean. And I feel like Converse High was a little bit more of that because they really, let's remember, Converse High, they couldn't even sing Converse High. They had to say Lovers High because Converse, they cannot say Converse on television because it's a brand and they cannot say brands. So they even went out of their way to no, actually the promoted B-side is going to be Converse High. It was very deliberate. Okay, so next we have The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 2, and the title track or lead single is Run. They don't have a follow-up single, but they do have a promoted B-side, which is Butterfly. Now, I believe that Run reinforces the image that they were creating with I Need You. I remember that when I first became an ARMY, I confused the music videos of Run and I Need You. I just didn't see any difference because it's the same storyline, so they are very, very similar. Um, at the very beginning, I just couldn't differentiate Run and I Need You. I just couldn't. Me too. Okay, I'm glad to see that other people agree because I was like, it's more of the same, and that is why it's so confusing to me. At the beginning when I first became an ARMY, but yeah, definitely Run reinforces that image. The image that they were creating during We're Bulletproof. I'm sorry, during The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1 makes sense. It's Part 2, exactly. I first thought that they were in the same album. Same. I really thought they were in the same album for so long when I first became an ARMY. And then I realized actually no, it's like a it's a different comeback. It's a different era. It's the same era but a different comeback. So Butterfly, so this is how BTS used to choose their promoted B-sides. For their promoted B-sides, like I said, they try to go with songs that can be fun to dance to and for armies to watch and maybe replicate the dances, the choreographies. Energetic choreographies, energetic songs, fun songs. Those were the promoted B-sides. But this time, for the first time ever, BTS chooses Butterfly as a promoted B-side. And Butterfly, we know Butterfly is more sentimental. It's like a slow song. It's a different kind of choreography. And it has a catchy chorus and everything, but it is very different to their previous promoted B-sides. It's like a completely different, it's a new choice for them. And this is a risk that they did. And it was a good risk because I think it worked. I think Butterfly was the right decision for the promoted B-side because um, they are versatile artists. And I feel like it's good for them to show this versatility and not just show the same again and again. Also, William 52, Autumn Leaves, I feel like are kind of similar in vibe, not in sound, but in vibe to Butterfly. But Butterfly had a choreography and it's catchy. The chorus is catchy. So that is why I believe they chose it as the promoted B side because of the choreography and because it's catchy. Then My City, Silver Spoon are good songs. I love them, but I feel like they could have given a little mixed signals if they were chosen as a promoted B-sides because they were a little old school BTS, like a school trilogy BTS. And they wanted to go with this new image. So maybe that's why they didn't choose those as promoted B-sides. Now, this is my opinion. I feel like if they had House of Cards as a promoted B-side or even as a follow-up single, BTS could have revolutionized the industry right there and then. I only wonder because maybe they didn't see it back then. Maybe they were still a little unsure to do crazy risks because House of Cards as a as a follow up single, it's like a hard decision. It's like a hard decision. But I feel like if they have done that, they could have revolutionized the industry. But maybe they didn't see themselves as revolutionaries back then. They were still trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. Um, and it is a big risk. So they were still very young in their careers, very early in their careers. So I understand why they didn't took this big risk. But yeah, even as a song, it's very revolutionary. So I respect their decision. It's just that I wonder, what if? What if? Mm, maybe it's too much for the industry. It is, and that's what I said, that it could have revolutionized the industry. But maybe that is the exact reason. Like, let's remember now BTS is not afraid to take risks and try to change the industry and create new trends. But back then, they were still trying to figure out what worked and what didn't. So maybe they were too scared of using House of Cards. Like House of Cards is an amazing song, but it could have been a risk if used as a promoted B side. Okay, I think they prioritize group songs. Yes, so yes, I agree. But I feel like maybe if they added some sections of raps or something, they could have revolutionized the industry. But I understand. Like no one was ready. Not even BTS was ready to do that yet. They didn't know their power yet. They didn't know their power. Okay. So next we have the compilation album, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever. So this is basically a compilation album of part one and two, but with three extra songs and some remixes and full length editions. So the title track or lead single was Burning Up Fire. The follow up single was Save Me, and the pre release was Epilogue Young Forever. So this was a little bit of a surprise for me because I didn't know. Once again, I was not an army back then. So all of this is just me learning how things were back then. And I thought that BTS's first pre release single was Black Swan, but it was actually Epilogue Young Forever. This was their first pre release single. They released it before the album, and they released, and it makes sense because they are moving on to the next image that they're trying to show. So they wanted to just wrap up the storyline, like they had to continue with their next chapter. So with Epilogue Young Forever, they finish this storyline, at least for now. At least for now. Okay, so wait, where is it? What? I don't have notes for this one. Okay, so Fire, so weird. I thought I had something, I written something down for this, but I didn't. Oh, here it is. So Young Forever, Epilogue Young Forever summed up the storyline. Now, I believe that Fire was made specifically to maintain the global audience from Dope. Because let's remember, Dope was huge. It brought a lot of global fans, and it has like this specific sound. It's very fun, all of this. And I feel like Fire, it gives me the same vibe for some reason. It's different from Dope, but maybe it was done to get the same, to maintain that audience. I heard Fire when I didn't even know about BTS. So it works. That's what I'm saying. Like, it works. Like they did Fire. They released Fire for the same global audience that they were getting with Dope. And it worked. It worked. Fire was the song that got me into BTS. So now I'm seeing like a couple of comments about Fire and how it worked with global audiences. So yeah, it was a good decision as well. And then Save Me, I feel like was also for global audiences, but it showed a sound that was not as intense as young as Fire and Dope. Fire and Dope were very fast paced, even like it can exhaust you a little bit. Save Me was still for global audiences, but a little calmer. I heard Fire before I knew about BTS as well. So yeah, it was definitely because of that. I mean, it worked. It worked. And then yeah, this was so I agree overall with these decisions. I agree. Title track, Fire, Save Me, Follow Up, and Young Forever as a pre-release. It was the good decision because they had to um sum up the storyline that they were doing. Okay, so next we have Wings. So this is like an entire new era because this is BTS's um next full length album. And full length albums are very special projects. Like it's not like any EP. Full length albums need like a lot of songs. And just look at this masterpiece. Now, what I think about this album, so Blood, Sweat, and Tears was the title track or lead single. Am I Wrong was a promoted B-side. 21st Century Girl was another promoted B-side. And then they had, for the first time ever, solo songs inside the BTS album, inside a BTS album. Now, I'm just going to say it. Blood, Sweat, and Tears is the title track, is the lead single. There's no better choice. Like Blood, Sweat, and Tears was that song. Like there was no conversations. I know when they had this album, there were simply no conversations about, I wonder which one can be best. Maybe this song, maybe this other. No, there's just, that conversation doesn't exist. Blood, Sweat, and Tears is the title track, period. Like there's no conversation here. Blood, Sweat, and Tears is that song. And it just shows everything. Once again, this new image that BTS was going for, it was about angst and temptation that you have when you transition from being a young person and then going into adulthood. Blood, Sweat, and Tears is all about that. Also, Blood, Sweat, and Tears is a little bit like sexy, so it shows a new side of BTS that they haven't expressed yet up until that point. So Blood, Sweat, and Tears was, there was no conversation. Blood, Sweat, and Tears was created with that main track in mind, certainly. Yes, there was no other option. Like, I love all of these songs, but there was just no conversation here. Now, we have the solo songs, and then we have um Cypher 4, which is just the rap line. But then we have Lost and 2 3. Now, Lost and 2 3 are, I believe that those cannot be promoted B-sides because those are very with a message for ARMY in mind. I feel like they cannot promote in K-pop music shows Lost and 2 3. Those songs are for ARMY. If that makes any sense. Those songs are for ARMY, not to be promoted. Not to promote. And then Wings, this is what I said at the very beginning. Wings is made for a concert. Wings is made for a tour. I don't see Wings as a promoted B-side. I just don't see it. With a choreography, it just doesn't work. Wings is for a music video. I'm sorry. Wings is for a concert. Wings is for a tour. So no promoted B-side. So we have left Am I Wrong and 21st Century Girls or 21st Century Girl. Both fun songs, fun choreographies. In my opinion, overall, great decisions. Promoted B-sides, Am I Wrong and 21st Century Girl. There's just no other conversation here. I feel like it's all very clear. It's all very clear. And I agree with every single decision here. I don't feel like any of these other songs could have been follow-up singles with a music video. I don't see it. I don't see it. Both great for music shows, great choreo. Yes. So I feel like we are fine with Wings. 1 lead single, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. 2 promoted B-sides with fan choreographies, Am I Wrong and 21st Century Girls. The other songs are made for concerts or for armies, not to promote. So I agree with all of this. I agree with all of it. This album was so well structured. Yes, I cannot disagree with a single decision from this album. I just cannot disagree. I agree with everything. So this album is a masterpiece. Yes, in many ways. In many ways. Okay. So next we have the repackage You Never Walk Alone, which is the repackage of Wings. It's basically the same album as Wings, but it has 3 extra songs. It has Spring Day, Not Today, and a supplementary story, You Never Walk Alone. From these 3 songs, A Spring Day is the title track or lead single, and Not Today is the follow-up. Now, we know A Spring Day was the right decision for the title track because it eventually became South Korea's second national anthem. We all know it. We all love it. Everyone knows it. Everyone in South Korea knows Spring Day because it was just that song. And A Spring Day as a follow-up, it's just disrespectful. A Spring Day as a follow-up would have been disrespectful. A Spring Day deserved the entire attention. So it deserved to be the lead single. In my opinion, it was a right decision. Also, a Spring Day was not just for Korea, if you really think about it. A Spring Day is also global, general public friendly because it is kind of Brit rock. I believe the producers were producers of Brit rock music. And BTS also released a remix, a Brit rock remix of a Spring Day. So it worked with everything. It worked with Korean audiences and global audiences. It worked with everything. It was the perfect title track or lead single. It was perfect. And also, this is also the first time that BTS has a music video for a ballad like this or like a pop ballad. So just perfection all over the place. I totally agree with this decision. Now we have Not Today as the follow-up. Not Today, in my opinion, and you can totally disagree, and I may even change my mind. In my opinion, BTS found an audience with Dope, and they wanted to continue having that audience. And that's why they released Fire. And then why now they released Not Today. So, like I said, this is what I said. When they discover Dope and the audience that it can bring, they continue with their projects, but alongside those projects, they also had these specific songs that are like Dope and Fire and Not Today. It's not the same sound, but it's the same vibe, if that makes any sense. Dope, Fire, and Not Today have always felt like sisters to me. I don't know how to describe it. Yes. And I believe it's because it's for the same audiences. When BTS found the audience for Dope, it was like we cannot miss this audience. Like we cannot forget about this audience. Dope was a huge hit with one specific audience. So we're going to do Fire for that audience. And it worked. And then we're going to do Not Today for that audience. And it worked again. So it's like, in my opinion, that was a decision. It was not a coincidence. It was a decision. A Spring Day and Not Today are the most beautiful moment in life. That is an interesting opinion. Like I see it. I see it. Okay. So next we have Love Yourself, Her. So this is a new era for BTS and they are changing their image once again because that's what they do. They explore different genres. They explore different eras. So when they start Love Yourself trilogy, they start with Love Yourself, Her, And this is the moment when BTS with Wings, they get so much, like such a big audience from Western countries. Like they get a massive Western audience and also a global audience. And this is thanks to Wings, BTS receives top social artist on the BBMAs, at the BBMAs. They receive like all of these nominations in America. And they get the opportunity for their next project. So this one, Love Yourself Her, they get to debut in America. So this project has to be really well thought out, really well thought out. And once again, this is just my opinion. And like I said, you can disagree with me because I may change my opinion. So you can convince me otherwise. You totally can. And this is no disrespect to BTS, I swear. I love them and I love I love their music. This is just for fun once again. So BTS chooses DNA for the title track or lead single. And as a follow-up, they choose Mic Drop. Go Go is also a promoted B-side. Now, I understand this decision. DNA is their American debut. And what are they going to do in America? They have zero experience. No one around them has experience in America or the American music industry. They are trying for the first time. And what do they do? I guess what I would also do, which is let's see what people are listening to in America at the moment. And people are listening to, this is 2016, 2017. This is 2017, but maybe they started working on this since 2016. So EDM is what people are listening to. It's EDM. Think of the Chainsmokers were huge in 2016, 2017. Dubstep, huge 2016, 2017. All of this was about EDM. People were listening to EDM. So BTS releases DNA, which I think it works perfectly. It was amazing. However, as their debut in America, as their American debut, and also as the title track or lead single, I'm not so sure about that because I believe that Mic Drop, especially this version, because let's remember, and this is something that really pisses me off so many times. People say that, oh, Mic Drop is incredible only because of Stevie Aoki. And it's like, have you listened to Mic Drop? The BTS version of Mic Drop, which is the original, which is on Love Yourself Her. Stevie Aoki, yes, he did a remix of the song, but that's not the magic of the song. Like, I love Stevie Aoki's remix. I really do. But it is like an EDM remix of the hip hop Mic Drop that BTS created. Mic Drop original version made by BTS, created by BTS, written by BTS. That version is more like hip hop. And I feel like Mic Drop also has a tiny bit of EDM, just a tiny bit, the original version. So I feel like for their American debut, they could have used Mic Drop. Like this version of Mic Drop. It represents BTS because it has like a strong raps. It has like a powerful performance choreography. And Mic Drop at the BBMAs, I would just explode. It would have been so awesome. I understand why they chose DNA. DNA, like I said, people were listening to EDM at the time and they didn't know what to do. BTS were like in unknown territory. They didn't know what to do. They were trying things for the first time. So I totally agree. And I love DNA. But I feel like Mic Drop represents BTS more. Mic Drop represents BTS more. I don't know. I feel like BTS is more Mic Drop than BTS is DNA. Because since Mic Drop was released, BTS keeps releasing songs similar to Mic Drop, but they don't release many songs like DNA anymore. Because DNA was a product of its time. And once again, you can disagree with me and I may even change my mind. I don't know. As an American, DNA was the better choice. Their performance was very impressive. It still holds up today. That AMA performance. That is true. Like, in 2017, people were listening to this style of music, so it makes sense why they released DNA. And it worked. I mean, it was successful. DNA was successful. And as so many people are saying here on chat, DNA matches Love Yourself's vibe better. I agree with that. Yes, it is true. It is true. But I don't know. I feel like also in 2017, I understand that EDM was a big thing in America, but hip hop or rap music were also like big genres in America. And Mic Drop is closer to who BTS is musically. So this is just my opinion. And once again, you can totally disagree, but I do believe that I would have flipped this. I would have chosen Mic Drop BTS only version as a title track and DNA as the follow up. I would have switched them. I would have switched them. um, but I understand. I understand. Rap is attractive to some, but the boy band helped them initially appeal to the general public. The boy band image initially helped them initially appeal to the general public. That is true. And that is also why I feel like I would have loved for them to start with Mic Drop in America because, again, it's what if, right? It's what if. I wonder if they started with Mic Drop instead of DNA, maybe the K-pop, not the K-pop, but the boy band image was not as strong as it was. Because, and this is crazy, and let me know if you know anything about this, but I remember that back in 2016, 2017, so this era specifically, the boy bands that were trying to make it um make it in the industry, some of them would say this weird phrase, which is it's so ridiculous, but they said, we're not a boy band, we are a man band. I remember specifically like two different boy bands at the time saying that. Like, we're not boy bands, we're man bands, man bands instead of boy band. Because they were trying to be like I swear there were two boy bands that did that little phrasing. And it's like, oh my goodness. But my point is that they didn't want to be perceived as a boy band, even though they were clearly boy bands. Man band? Yes, I swear, I swear. And I wish I could tell you because one of these quote unquote man bands is a band that I really like, but it's still like, it's just so hilarious. It's just so hilarious. Like, I saw a couple of boy bands saying that phrase. But, anyways, maybe if BTS started with Mic Drop, they could have had that man band image without being cringy by saying it, just being it, because it feels less I don't know, boy band. I'm just wondering though. I'm not saying that they should have done this or whatever. I'm just saying, I'm just wondering. Marcos, you need to stop. A same band. That's words. You do see how that's words, right? Man band. I swear, I swear. I swear they said it. Man band is so cringy. I know, but that's what they were trying to do. That's what they were trying to do at the very beginning. Okay. So unfortunately I would say that I don't, it's not that I disagree, it's just that I'm confused. It's just that I wonder what would have happened if the opposite um happened, which is Mic Drop as a title track and DNA as the follow up. Because let's remember as well, Mic Drop was never performed on an award show in America. The songs that were performed in America were DNA, Fake Love, and Boy with Love. So no Mic Drop in award shows in America. They did perform Mic Drop in SNL, which is great. But the reception for Mic Drop at SNL was amazing because people were like, wait, this is like real performance, real rap, real performers. And I wish we could have seen that in at the Billboard Music Awards, let's say, or the American Music Awards. It could have been fun, but yeah, it didn't happen. Once again, I no disrespect though. I love DNA. I love DNA. Also, Kimmel. Come on, like nobody cares about Kimmel. I'm sorry, nobody cares about Kimmel. On Ellen and Kimmel. I don't like Ellen, but Ellen at least has some, or at least at the time, her show had like some impact. Um, yeah, so they performed Mic Drop at Ellen, but I don't know. I wanted to see Mic Drop at the American Music Awards or the Billboard Music Awards to receive the same impact from SNL, the same reception from SNL. Okay, so let's continue. Then BTS released Love Yourself Tear. So they had Fake Love as the title track or lead single, and they have Airplane Part 2 as a promoted B-side, and Anpanman as another promoted B-side. So let's just say it all, like Fake Love was the perfect title track. There's no better option. The title track just I feel like the exact same way about Fake Love as Blood, Sweat, and Tears. There was just no other option other than Blood, Sweat, and Tears for the title track position for Wings. The same way with Fake Love. Fake Love was the title track. No other conversation had to be, we had to have. Like, they had to have. Like, Fake Love is, Fake Love is the title track. Wait a second. 1 second. Okay. Fake Love made me an army. So that's the other thing. Fake Love was a huge success. It was the right decision because we can see it already. Fake Love was BTS's first top 10 song on the Billboard Hot 100. It was huge. It was a great success. And there's just no better option. Like, I love all of these songs, but the right decision was Fake Love. There was no other better option. Now, like I said, Fake Love has complexity, artistry, and a catchy chorus. It has everything, so it worked perfectly. Billboard Hot 100 top 10. And then we have Airplane Part 2 as a promoted B-side. Now, it's not exactly like Dope and Fire and Not Today, but I find it kind of interesting that the overall theme, like Airplane Part 2, and they mention all of these places around the world. And this is the promoted B-side because it's almost like talking to the global audience. People from around the world listen to Airplane Part 2, discover BTS, listen to Airplane Part 2, and it's like, wait, BTS is talking about the world. So I don't know. I found that a little bit interesting. And then we have Anpanman, which is, in my opinion, the fun song for K-pop audiences to dance to. K-pop audiences want simple, or at least something that looks simple. K-pop audiences want choreographies. K-pop audiences want colorful, and that is what Anpanman is. And it worked. K-pop audiences love Anpanman. I believe Anpanman is the most watched, or was it Go-Go? I don't remember. But Anpanman and Go-Go are very well known with K-pop audiences, very colorful, fun choreographies to replicate. K-pop audiences love Anpanman. And I feel like there's a little bit there because Airplane Part 2, global audiences, Anpanman, K-pop audiences. So they keep doing this. They keep doing this strategy, which I think works. Like, it has worked every single time. Like, they get better and better at this strategy. And in this case, they didn't choose any follow-up single. And I kind of agree. What I do have to say though is that I say 134340. I don't know how to actually say like what's the way you're supposed to say it, but 134340, Paradise, and Love Maze, I feel like could have been American promoted B-sides, especially 134340. It's Pluto. Okay. I know it's Pluto, but do you actually say Pluto? Anyways, my point is that I know promoted B-sides are not like a thing. Promoted B-sides are not like a thing in America and Western countries and Western music industry. But if they were, if BTS had the chance to perform other songs aside from Fake Love, especially for Western audiences, I feel like 134340 or Pluto or whatever, that would be the song. It is general public friendly, I feel like. And it could have worked, in my opinion, as a promoted B side in America specifically. I feel like K pop audiences just wouldn't appreciate Pluto or 1340, 134340 enough. I feel like they wouldn't have appreciated it. But maybe Western audiences would. And Ampaman promoted B side, perfectly fine with that. Magic Shop is for Army, not to be promoted, in my opinion. Magic Shop is for Army, not a song to be promoted and to promote. And So What is the song for concerts. So they are doing this again. So they have one song or a couple of songs that are specifically for Army, not to really promote in American shows or K-pop shows or anywhere. They don't. I feel like these songs are not made to be promoted. These songs are made for for armies, and songs like "So What" are definitely made for concerts, specifically made for concerts. Magic Shop actually makes me sob. Yeah, I mean, it is. I feel like it's made for armies. No other audience could understand Magic Shop like armies. Okay, so next we have Love Yourself Answer. Now, I am a little confused with the decision for this title track. I love Idol. I remember that it was one of my favorite music videos. I knew about Idol and I knew about the existence of BTS before being an army. Like I knew that BTS had a music video like this. I didn't remember the name of the music video, but I knew because of pop culture, because of the references in social media, I knew about Idol because of how big it was. Um, However, I don't understand really the marketing strategy behind this one, or not necessarily the marketing strategy. I just don't understand the decision the decision for having Idol as the lead single. But also, I don't have anything against it. Idol was a very experimental song for a title track for any audience. It was very quote unquote weird. It was very experimental for Western audiences. It was also experimental for K-pop audiences. I still have not seen well, I have seen very weird K-pop music videos, but it's still in the weird side of music videos. Idol is a concert song. Okay, so that would make a lot of sense. That Idol is a concert song. That would make a lot of sense. And it also makes sense because of course they promoted Idol. I remember they promoted Idol at Good Morning America. And where else? I feel like they promoted Idol at America's Got Talent or something like that, but they didn't promote Idol in any kind of big American award show or TV show like Jimmy Fallon or James Corden. No, wait, they performed Idol at Jimmy Fallon. They performed Idol at Jimmy Fallon. Alongside I'm Fine, which is the promoted B-side. So Good Morning America, Fallon, and America's Got Talent. I thought they did Ellen. Um, no, at Ellen they performed Mic Drop, Fake Love, Airplane Part 2, and something else that I don't remember. Idol on a US morning show too. Aside from Good Morning America, I don't think of anything. Like, look, you think we're not Korean enough? It also answers the huge conflict that's touched them from the start, artist versus idol. Yes, so I totally understand like the message of the album. Like it fits. They always have a message and they have a very strong message. It's just the way they deliver the message um with the decisions for title tracks and follow-ups. So I understand the message of Idol. Um but to promote Idol in America, it's a crazy risky decision that it worked. And I don't understand why it worked. But it worked. Like it even worked with me because I didn't know who BTS was, like really, really. I didn't know them. I knew about them and I knew about this music video. And I also knew about this music video because of the YouTube Rewind. So this music video was huge in every single way. Um, it's just leaving me a little confused why it worked so well. Maybe it's because maybe the world just wanted that wow factor, like that shock. And this was exactly that. Like Idol was very shocking to every single audience, even to armies. Idol was very shocking. It stands out. Yes, it stands out a lot. It is very different from anything I've seen. Idol music video is like a fever dream. Yes, it is. And then the follow up with an asterisk because not really. So the follow up was technically Mic Drop Steve Aoki remix, but it is actually Mic Drop featuring Designer because BTS didn't have a music video with Designer, but they did have a music video for Mic Drop Steve Aoki remix with Steve Aoki, and then they sent to radio the Designer edition. So the Designer feature they sent to radio. So if they're sending a song to radio, that is technically a single. So it is like a weird thing. Technically, the follow-up single would be Mic Drop Designer Remix Steve Aoki remix. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, that was the technically the follow-up single. Um I'm not so sure about that because I love that we got a Mic Drop Steve Aoki remix music video. It helped a lot. It brought in a lot of new audiences. But I'm not so sure about the designer feature, the designer version. They sent it to radio, but um, it didn't go very far. So maybe they were just trying different things and see what works. And they learned some things from those decisions. So then we have I'm Fine as a promoted B-side. They perform it, I remember. They perform I'm Fine at the Jimmy Fallon show. And they also perform I'm Fine on Korean music shows. So that is why it's a promoted B-side. And I don't disagree with it. I think it's fine. I think I'm Fine is fine as a promoted B-side. Um I just don't see it as a single. That's why it's not a single, it's a promoted B-side. So I agree with it. I agree with all of this. It's just that it's a little confusing to me how well it worked. Like I remember I knew about Idol and I was not an army at all. The rock version of Fake Love, it's great. Yes, I love the DNA rock version, which is pedal to LA mix. And I also love Fake Love Rockin' Vibe mix. So yeah. Okay, so next we have this new era. So BTS enters this new era, which is Map of the Soul Persona. This is an EP and it has Intro Persona, Boy With Love, featuring Halsey, Microcosmos, Make It Right, Home, Jamais Vu. I say Jamais Vu. Dionysus, and that's it. So the lead single or the title track is Boy With Love featuring Halsey. The follow up is Make It Right, and the promoted single, specifically in Korean TV shows, is Dionysus or Dionysus. I've heard BTS say it both ways, Dionysus and Dionysus. So I don't know how to say it exactly. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. I believe that with the Love Yourself trilogy, BTS were doing all of these decisions according to Western market. They all worked. Like for some reason, they all worked. Like it was good decisions for the title tracks. It was good decisions for the singles, and it made BTS huge in Western countries. But by this time, I feel like BTS were going for a new image. With the Love Yourself trilogy, I feel like BTS were like, they kind of had like a boy band image. But with Map of the Soul Persona, I feel like they changed that image to a star image, if that makes any sense. You know how there are celebrities and there are huge stars that everyone loves? Like they are universally loved. I feel like with Map of the Soul, BTS were going for that new image. BTS were going for the image of we are global stars and we all know it. And no one could deny it at that point. I remember that specifically in 2019, I became an army because it was impossible to not become an army by this point. And so many people who I watched, for some reason, they would talk about BTS out of nowhere. Like, I didn't follow them because they talked about BTS. They just simply talked about BTS because the news reported that in 2019, BTS were officially like the biggest band after the Beatles or something. And so many people were talking about that. So, BTS's new image is literally like worldwide icons. Like, that is their new image. And with Persona, it is very interesting because it shows a very relaxed BTS. Boy With Love shows a performance style in BTS that I've never seen before with them. Before, it seems like with all of their title tracks, with all of their performance, think of Fake Love, think of Blood, Sweat and Tears, think of Mic Drop. It seems like BTS is performing their ass out. Like they are going like hard and doing their all and they are doing all of this crazy stuff. But with Boy With Love, they are relaxed for the first time because it's like everyone loves them, everyone knows who they are. They don't have to prove themselves to anyone. They're just there to be stars and heartthrobs and to be like this big name. Like they are BTS and they can do Boy With Love and everyone is going to like fall in love with them because that's just who BTS are. This is their new image. Their new image is stars, legends. Like that is the new image that I feel like they were going for. They are more relaxed even. I wish I was in 2019. It seemed like such a happy era and everyone was having a great time with promotions and achievements. I am super biased because I became an army. Like this was my first comeback. Like Boy With Love was my first comeback. Or when I became an army, I knew about them since 2018, but I refused to become an army because I was too cool to be an army. Like I'm of course, like I listen to them from time to time. I know who they are. I know about Mic Drop, but I'm not an army because I'm too cool for this or whatever. But then I was like, BTS released Boy With Love, and he's like, I just can't. Like I have to accept it. I have to accept it. Like I am an army and I love BTS. And it is also in part because I guess if this was really the strategy, like it worked with me. Like BTS were presenting themselves like we are not just a little boy band anymore or this little K-pop band. We are stars and everyone knows us, and it worked with me. It really did. So from all of these songs, I feel like Boy With Love was the right decision as well. I mean, it made me an army. So I just cannot complain. Like I agree with it. Boy With Love was the right decision for the single. Um Now every single time that I say this, people disagree with me and it's totally fine. My own sister yells at me because she disagrees with me about this completely. She disagrees with me and everyone disagrees with me and it's totally fine. Make It Right is just not my type of song. It's probably the only song that from BTS's discography that I don't love. Every single other song I either like a lot or love or I'm obsessed with. Make It Right is just not my type of song. However, ignoring my personal opinion because of my musical preference, Make It Right was the right follow up. It just was the right follow up. Make It Right, I remember, and I even see it today. Like, Make It Right was the first song for a lot of armies. And for some reason, I feel like in my country, at least, I don't know about America, but in my country, I would listen to Make It Right on the radio. It was very, I feel like maybe BTS, they were trying so, for so many years to enter American radio, but it is so, so hard. It is so, so hard, especially with pop songs. There's just so much competition. But with Make It Right, maybe they could enter to more alternative or specific radio stations. So, for example, I believe it's called adult contemporary or something like that. So it is like a different genre, I guess, of radio stations. I don't know how to explain it. So maybe they were going for that. This is a different follow up, a very different strategy for a single to promote a single. It was very, very different. I heard Make It Right on radio then. I was like, interesting, but it didn't caught my attention. Yeah, by that time I was already an army, and technically, Make It Right was my first comeback as a full on army. So I was like, I don't know. But then I changed. I mean, BTS, I liked all of their songs. I enjoyed the performance of Make It Right on the Stephen Colbert show. Yeah, I really like it. And I mean, it worked. It worked. It's very general public friendly. It was also produced by Ed Sheeran, so it makes sense. It makes sense. Ed Sheeran and Love probably helped to get on the radio, on get to the radio. Yes, so the American public loved Ed Sheeran, and Love was a representative in this genre. So even though it's not my favorite song, I agree with this decision 100%. It, I remember like it brought so many armies. I was there when there were new armies saying, "Wait, I actually love love, so I'm going to listen to this song," and they ended up liking BTS and loving BTS and becoming armies. And Dionysus as the promoted B-side, I also 100% agree with this because it shows that if you're really interested in cool BTS, like we're the stars of the world with Boy With Love, and you want to see more of them, you will probably come across Dionysus, and you would see that they can actually put on a show. BTS performed Dionysus in so many award shows and in so many Korean TV Korean music shows. So it was it was the right decision. I wish they could have performed Dionysus at an American award show. 100% I agree. I would have loved to see this. And I believe that's what they were trying to do with On. They wanted On to be successful in America, and they wanted to perform On in American shows, in American award shows. But we know what happened, and everything was canceled. Everything was canceled. So yeah, I believe On was their way of trying to have um their big performances in American in America. On was stolen 100%. It was completely stolen from its moment, and it was so frustrating. But yeah, overall, when it comes to Boy with Love, I agree with all of these decisions. What happened? The pandemic. The pandemic happened, and it made BTS cancel all of their plans for On, all of their plans for Black Swan and for Map of the Soul 7. They had to cancel everything. Actually, we need to talk about that. Let's go to Map of the Soul 7. So this is a full length album. It has the first few songs are from Map of the Soul Persona, and then we have new songs. We have Interlude Shadow, Black Swan, Filter, My Time, Louder Than Bombs, On, Ah, 0 o'clock, Inner Child, Friends, Moon, Respect, We're Bulletproof the Eternal, Outro Ego, and the digital single was On featuring Sia. On featuring Sia. So for this, the pre-release single was Black Swan, and the title track or lead single was actually On. Now, this is interesting because I feel like this album is art. I feel like this album is amazing. I just don't know if Black Swan or On could have been pushed in America. I don't know. I guess we'll never know because I don't know. Mm, I'm not sure. I don't really know about this one. I am confused, and I don't know what was aside from the art, which is first before everything. First before everything is the art. And artistically speaking, Black Swan and On are amazing songs. But why are these the title tracks? Who would listen to these songs? Do you guys see the general public listen to Black Swan and On? Be honest. I want to know if you think Black Swan and On could be listened to by Western audiences. Black Swan would have done well on R&B radio. I agree. I feel like Black Swan could have been pushed on radio. Black Swan could have worked on radio. On maybe. Okay. For some reason, I feel like maybe they were trying to push On with featuring Sia um, to Western audiences. I just don't see On featuring Sia being heard by anyone. No Western audiences, no K-pop audiences, like not even armies listen to On featuring Sia. So let's just talk about On. I don't know why, but I don't see On being listened to by the general public. I see On being watched by the general public. I see On being a music video that is popular with the general public because of the choreography. And not even the music video. The music video, it was like no choreography. It was a music video with a story and everything. But the Kinetic Manifesto film, this would have been the video that would have been watched by the general public, in my opinion. And also BTS considers On as the music video. I've heard them say, yeah, the On music video with the choreography. And it's like, you're talking about the Kinetic Manifesto film. But yeah, I don't know. Black Swan is a great hip hop R&B mix type song. On would have tapped into the marching band culture, especially Black HBCU culture and dance culture in the US. So those are interesting opinions because I feel like this is why I had to say I don't know about this one because I generally don't know about this one. I didn't know um I didn't know how this could have worked. I do see Black Swan, but I also when I say general public, of course I'm talking about Western charts, so the Hot 100 and stuff like that. But I also see I've said this a million times. Maybe you're not from the US or maybe you are from the US, but maybe you don't know this. Songs that are popular in the US have high chances of being popular around the world. So I think of my country, for example, in Latin America. Songs that are popular in America but are also global mainstream public friendly are going to be popular around the world. And I feel like BTS could have had that with Black Swan. Black Swan could have been like popular in America and then also popular in countries around the world, but I don't see people from my country, for example, listening to On. I just don't see it. Maybe, like you said, it was very popular with a specific culture. What do you say? HBCU. Black HBCU culture and dance culture in the US. But not everything that is popular in the US is going to be popular around the world. But maybe I'm completely wrong. This is why I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure about this one. I don't know. On is a performance song. Yes. And that is why I'm saying that I feel like I can see On as being the right decision for to get people to watch this performance, to watch this video, to watch this Kinetic Manifesto film, not to listen to it on the radio and be a mainstream song. We'll never know. Exactly. I guess we'll never know. Bora, you're always wrong. You are 100% correct. When it comes to predictions, I'm always wrong. Actually, I'm not always wrong. It's just that half of the time I'm wrong with my predictions. So half is crazy, half is a lot. So maybe I'm completely wrong. And in an alternative universe, in my country, everyone is listening to On. Everyone is listening to On. Maybe you are confused about On like about DNA. DNA worked, so On could also, right? But DNA was what was popular at the time. It was EDM. On, actually, yeah, songs like On are very popular. But in my country, I don't know, like globally speaking, I'm not so sure about this one. I'm just going to say it. I don't know about this. I don't know what to say about this ones. So I'm going to leave this to you. On maybe an army, but be honest, on performance, On's performance made you an army. Because I remember that so many armies listen to Make It Right on the radio or just listen to the song because the music video is almost non existent. The music video for Make It Right is almost non existent. So the fans who became fans after listening to Make It Right became fans because of Make It Right, the song. But the fans who became army after On became fans of On because of the performance. I don't see this on the radio, but maybe, like I said, I'm 100% wrong. Like, maybe I'm 100% wrong. Okay. I love the marching band thing. Yes, actually, this has nothing to do with a marketing strategy, but I love On. I'm obsessed with Kinetic Manifesto film. Um, I still watch it to this day. I love Kinetic Manifesto film. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorites. Oh, yeah. I heard the high note of Jungkook singing in a car and I was like, I need more of this. But yes, I was continuously watching the performance. Yes. So the on performance of BTS at the carpool karaoke, iconic. Iconic, iconic. And yeah, even though I don't like James Corden, I love BTS's carpool karaoke. Okay. So next we have B. So technically, BTS releases Dynamite as a pre-release. No, not just a pre-release single. BTS released Dynamite as a standalone single, just as a single with no other tracks alongside it. It's just a one-time thing, just Dynamite. And then they decided, actually, we're going to include Dynamite in the B album, and that was the right decision in my opinion. So in technical terms, you can consider Dynamite as B's pre-release single, but it's not really Dynamite's pre-release single. It's really just a standalone single that they included after on the album B. So it is technically a pre-release, but it's just a single if we really think about it. So the actual title track for this album is Life Goes On. We also have Fly to My Room, Blue and Gray, Skid, Telepathy, Disease, Stay, and Dynamite, which is the single before that. What year is B? It's 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, and the album is about the pandemic. It was such a strange time too. Yes. So I feel like this album was we know that this album was produced by BTS in every sense that you can think of. So BTS usually composes the songs, records the songs, sometimes they produce the songs. And they have some ideas here and there for the overall theme of the album and stuff like that. But with this album, they had um roles that they usually wouldn't take. So, for example, like the project director or something like that was Jimin, and another one was like in charge of the pictures. Like they took control over every single step of the album, production, like every single thing. And it was like a very interesting project, and it was one of my favorites as well. Jungkook directed the Life Goes On music video. Yes. So overall, I feel like Life Goes On, I agree with Life Goes On being the title track or lead single because it is the ultimate comfort song from this album. These albums have some very dark songs like Blue and Gray, very, very sad. But some other songs are about generally about the pandemic, quarantine, and all of this. Um, but the positive message, like the most, what's the word? Hopeful, hopeful. But the hopeful song is Life Goes On. The hopeful song is Life Goes On. And I feel like there's just no better song than Life Goes On for the title track. And Dynamite as a standalone single, that is also okay. It can also be considered a pre-release single, but it's its own single. So for the title track, I believe Life Goes On was the right decision. They should leave Dynamite as single. I mean, they kind of did, but BTS said, I remember that BTS members said that they were questioning whether to include Dynamite on the album B or not. And then they said, actually, Dynamite is part of our pandemic experience and it is part of this process. So we are going to include it because it belongs here. And I actually agree. I believe B without Dynamite, it just wouldn't be the same thing because we needed that last song to be this happy, hopeful message about everything just being right and fun and happy. So I agree with Dynamite, including Dynamite on the B album. Um, I was about to say that I know I am 100% biased, but I would have loved Disease as a as a promoted B-side. I just love Disease. I just love Disease. And Disease as a promoted B-side, I just wanted more performances. That's it. I just wanted more performances. Justice for Disease Queen. I love Disease. I love Disease. And they all perform in this song specifically because the other songs, they don't all sing in, let's say, in a stay. So Disease is an OT7 song. It could have been fun to have like Disease as a as a promoted B-side. I need a full performance of Disease. I mean, we kind of have that for the online concert. What was it? Map of the Soul 1E. Map of the Soul 1E. Um, so yeah, we have that there. And we have some other concerts as well. Sowusu, yes. So Sowusu. Telepathy for me. But Telepathy isn't that like a group song, like a subunit. So Disease is perfect. Disease is a fun song. It could have worked with some performances, but I don't know. That is the only the little change that I would have done. But it's totally fine. Like we had dynamite. We had fun, okay? Like we had dynamite. So Telepathy is OT7. Oh, so which one is the other? It's Fly to My Room. I'm so sorry. Fly to My Room is wait, it's Fly to My Room, right? There are two subunits. It's a Stay, I remember, and it is Fly to My Room. Which one? Yes, Fly to My Room. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, you know what? Yes, because Telepathy, they performed Telepathy at MTV. I remember now. MTV Unplugged. Um, I love Telepathy at MTV Unplugged. I just wish they performed Disease at MTV Unplugged. And they would have done that if it were a promoted B-side. Thank you very much. Okay. Telepathy was my pandemic anthem, so I'm biased. Yeah, I remember that I watched the MTV Unplugged. And being completely honest, I watched Telepathy from MTV Unplugged and their cover for Coldplay's song more than any other performance because I remember that there was also Life Goes On and Dynamite, but I wanted to see Telepathy. I wanted to see Telepathy. Okay, so next we have a single album. So this is technically BTS's second single album that was like heavily promoted. The first single album was their debut album, Too Cool for School. And then they had Butter as a standalone single, and then they released Permission to Dance in a single album called Butter slash Permission to Dance. In some other places, I believe that it's also just called Butter, but it is a single album with Permission to Dance included. So we have Butter, Permission to Dance, Butter instrumental, and Permission to Dance instrumental. This is technically an album. It's called a single album. So Butter is the title track or lead single, and Permission to Dance is also considered a lead single on its own. It's like a weird thing. They just put these two singles in one album. Um, I agree with this. I agree with Butter being a promoted lead single. It is perfect. As just a single, it is perfect. However, I have this opinion about Permission to Dance, and I even have it like in a music video. I have it on a video script. I feel like Permission to Dance was done It reminds me a little bit of So What, in the sense that it seems like it's a concert song. It is a song for a tour, which eventually became the Permission to Dance tour. So I see why it became like a single with a music video and everything. But I feel like it's a tour song. It's a tour song. It's a concert song. And also, when I was at the Permission to Dance tour with my sister, I remember that they, when you enter the venue and when you leave the venue, I don't remember if when you leave the venue, but when you enter the venue, you would sit there for hours and hours and hours if you have sound check. And they would just play Permission to Dance on a loop, the Permission to Dance instrumental on a loop. So for some reason, in my mind, Permission to Dance is a concert song, especially the instrumental. It's just my sister was so done with it. Like, we both love Permission to Dance, but it was like it was on a loop for hours and hours and hours. Like, we were sitting there just listening to Permission to Dance again and again. It was just looping, like it never stopped, it never ended, and my sister was so done with it. Hopefully I can ask her about this on Friday. But my sister was just, I like Permission to Dance, like, but I'm done with it. Like, it keeps repeating, it keeps repeating. So in my mind, Permission to Dance is a concert song. Permission to Dance in my mind is a concert song. It is a concert song, but it was made in such a significant time. It meant something different, no? Yes, so it was finally like BTS saying, we're back to performing with a live audience. We're taking the masks off in a figurative way. They are not actually taking their masks off. They're still wearing masks. My point is that finally we can perform with other people, with an actual audience. Now we don't need permission to dance. So it is an amazing message as well. I like Butter music video the most though. It is very hard for me because the music videos, I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't care if people call me boring or whatever. My favorite music videos in terms of what I want to rewatch the most are the fun music videos. Being completely honest, the music videos that I rewatch the most, I am one of those people. I rewatch Dynamite, Butter, Permission to Dance, Boy with Love, DNA. Those are the music videos that I rewatch the most because I just want to be happy. And I just like the colors. So I am one of those people, okay? I like the choreographies and the fun songs. How is that boring? Because some people say, like, my favorite music video and the music video that I rewatch the most is the masterpiece of Black Swan and Fake Love. And it's like, of course, I love those music videos. Those music videos are a 10 out of 10. But the ones that when I'm just at my home and I'm just bored and I just want to watch some music videos, I want to have some fun and watch like fun music videos. So I watch Dynamite and Boy with Love and DNA and Butter and Permission to Dance. Those are the music videos that I rewatch the most. It depends on the vibe. It totally does. But most of the time, I want to just be happy. So I watch those music videos specifically. Butter Hotter remix. Oh my god, my sister was obsessed with that music video. The Butter Hotter remix. She was obsessed with that music video. I believe she loves that music video more than she loves Butter music video. I just love Butter. I just love Butter. It's fun. It makes me happy every single time. Okay. So this is, I mean, I agree with everything. I agree. It's pretty simple. Butter and Permission to Dance. Both are lead singles. Do I agree with that? I totally agree with it. They had to be lead singles, nothing else. I mean, no intro, outro, interlude, like weird, like more songs, more tracks. I don't feel like this needs that. Um, no, it's fine. It's fine the way it is. The song, the other song, instrumental, the other instrumental. That's it. End of the story. I like it. It's simple. I like it. Okay, so finally we enter the Proof era. So Proof was very, very short. Not the album, the era. The era of Proof was very short because it was this anthology album. They were closing chapter one. They were saying goodbye to their chapter one discography to start this new chapter in their careers. So it is an anthology album. It has 3 CDs and all of these songs. CD one basically is all of their most popular lead singles, the one that they chose. Um, so it makes sense. And then we have CD2, which is some solo songs, official solo songs, and subgroups. Was it subgroup? Yes, it is. And like subunits and stuff like that. And CD3 is mostly hidden tracks, demo versions, and a cappella versions, and stuff like that. The only 3 new songs, because Born Singer was re-released officially, but the new 3 songs were Yet to Come, which is the title track or lead single, Run BTS, which is the promoted B-side. It can be considered promoted B-side, but it's not really. That's why I put an asterisk. And then For Youth, which is the actual promoted B-side. 3 songs, 3 new songs, and in my opinion, it was the right decision. Yet to Come had to be the title track or lead single because it's the overall message of the album. They're trying to say the best is yet to come. You don't need to worry. We're saying goodbye to this first chapter of BTS, but we need to move on. We need to continue with what we need to do, and we're going to start a new chapter. That is why Yet to Come had to be the next song. It had to be. I'm sorry, the lead single. It had to be. Run BTS is a fun song, and instead of Run BTS, BTS in Korean music shows performs For Youth. Now, I know and I feel like I've seen on behind the scenes and stuff like that BTS were really performing at these K-pop music shows because of the fans, because they wanted to connect with fans after so long. Because of the pandemic, they didn't perform any of the songs from B or Dynamite or Butter or Permission to Dance in Korean TV shows. They didn't perform any of that. So they performed the 2 songs that didn't require choreographies, Yet to Come and For Youth. Now, from BTS's point of view, I totally agree. I feel like this is the right choice. Yet to Come for the title track or lead single, and For Youth for the promoted B-side. Run BTS not performed at all way after when they decided to do a choreography for the concert and all of that. But they didn't know they were going to do a concert. They thought that was like it. They were going to the military. It's like we're going. But then they had to reschedule everything because they decided to do the concert. So it is their decision. They didn't want to do Run BTS because it would be like it would require a choreography. And I respect their decision. I just think that it would have been iconic to have Run BTS as a follow-up single. I just would have I would have killed to see Run BTS as the follow-up single. It would have been so fun. Can you imagine Run BTS on a K-pop music show with a choreography and everything? It would have been so fun, so big, so iconic, so amazing. And I understand that BTS were not trying to do that. I understand that BTS were just trying to like say see you later to fans and perform for the last time in a couple of years because they were going to the military. They weren't Run BTS was not, they were never supposed to perform Run BTS, guys. BTS was never supposed to perform Run BTS. Run BTS was never supposed to have a choreography. They just created a choreography. They just created a choreography because of the concert that they did unexpectedly. They were not planning to have a concert. They were not planning to have the yet to come concert. So it changed. And you know what? Good, because we have now the Run BTS choreography for Run. The Run BTS choreography. But I still wonder, what if instead of for youth, they perform Run BTS on K-pop music shows? But I understand that they didn't, why they didn't. They wanted to have like a more intimate time with ARMY and more sentimental. And for that, Yet to Come and For Youth were the perfect choices. I totally understand that and I respect their decision. But I do wonder about Run BTS. Run BTS with a music video. Can you imagine that? I need to stop thinking about that. Because I feel like BTS is most definitely going to perform Run BTS on their comeback tour. Do you guys think? I feel like actually I have to say the opposite because it's not going to happen if I say it. So I'm just going to say the opposite. BTS is not going to perform Run BTS at their tour, at their comeback tour. I feel like it's obvious though. I feel like it's obvious. I 100% for sure think that. Yeah, I mean, same. I don't know because that choreo is hard. Depends what else they plan to do. Yes, so if they are, you're totally right. Actually, you're totally right. If BTS performs, like if their comeback single doesn't have like a very strong choreography like Run BTS, they will probably perform Run BTS as Dionysus, maybe like the opening song for their tour, which is very intense. Um, but maybe if they release like even more intense song, more intense than Run BTS, more iconic in that sense of performance, like big. Maybe they end up not performing the choreography for Run BTS. And maybe they just singing a little bit, like they do with that mix of Dope and Fire, and I don't remember the other songs, but yeah, we will see what happens. I want them to start their concert with Attack on Bangtan. That would be fun. Attack on Bangtan. Bora, bro. Predictions need to be bad so that the truth is amazing, please. I don't know. I feel like I say something and then they end up doing the complete opposite. The Run BTS practice video has music video numbers. Yes, and it's because it's that iconic. It's because the Run BTS choreography is that iconic. With a music video, it would have been, I'm talking like a billion views or something if it had like a music video. But um yeah, it's not the right time. It's not the right time. Like they did this album Proof. They did these new, three new songs because they were going to the military. They're saying goodbye to chapter 1. They are starting a new chapter, chapter 2. So yeah, it was not the right time. Um but I'm glad that they ended up creating a choreography for Run BTS and performing Run BTS, and we got a dance practice. So everything is good. So since this is the end, what do you guys think are going to be, like, what style are they going to follow for their next lead single? Do you think they're going to release a follow up single Do you think they're going to have a pre-release single? I feel like if they release a pre-release single, then that pre-release single is going to become automatically the lead single. When we talk about big comebacks like the one BTS is about to have, I feel like they're not going to release a pre-release single. I really don't. Oh, a lot of you guys are saying pre-release singles. Yes. I don't know because they are doing like a comeback, and I feel like the pre-release single would become the single because everyone will listen to it. Everyone will listen to it because it's like the big comeback of BTS, their first song after many years. So I don't know. I think it might be a Dynamite and B situation. You know what? I think you're right. I feel like I can totally see that. We will see. Of course, we're just now totally speculating, but I do see a Dynamite B situation. I do see that. Maybe like a Dynamite, maybe like Dynamite, just a single first. I do see that. I do see that. I feel like maybe they can do something like Dynamite with NB. So just a single, then months go by, and then maybe they include that single in a full length album like B with another title track. Armies are right while Bora is wrong. You know what? You're totally right. Armies are right with their predictions. And if the majority of you say something, you guys are right because my predictions are like wrong. Okay, so before I go, remember that today, in some hours, Jin is going to be on the Jimmy Fallon show. I'm just so excited. I feel like I get so excited whenever BTS is on Jimmy Fallon. Not because of Jimmy Fallon, but because BTS is comfortable on the Jimmy Fallon show. I love when BTS goes to the Jimmy Fallon show. I like it more than when they go to morning shows. I like it more than when they have interviews. I like it more than anything because they usually have like a little fun dynamic, or they have a little dance, or just have a fun interview. They just have a fun interview and they perform always. And I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited. Like, for example, of course, I'm more anxious all the time about the music video releases. So I'm always like, music video, music video. Like, I'm counting out the days in my head for the release of a music video or a lead single. But then it's like, okay, I'm watching the music video. What do I want to see next? I want to see the live performance at the Jimmy Fallon show. That's what I want to do. So it will be fun. Jin is Jin is amazing. So, and I love this title track so so much. Actually, I would say that I like this title track a little bit more than Running Wild. I do love Running Wild, but I feel like I'm more obsessed with this title track. I feel like with Don't Say You Love Me, I'm more connected to it. I feel like I am watching the music video more, even though I did watch Running Wild, but I have like some connection with this music video. And I'm not like it has nothing to do with the message. Like, I'm not in a heartbreak or anything like that. It's just that I don't know. I feel more connected with the music video and the song and the promotions and all of this. I'm more excited with this comeback for some reason. Maybe it's because now BTS is actually here, and Jin, when he had his first album, it was 2024 was such a big, it was such a weird year for BTS releases. Um. So yeah. Lotus Bloom, thank you so much. In 7 moments, the videos were 8:28 minutes long. What if they have a digital single line up for 8:28? You know what? I think armies are onto something because people have analyzed, I've seen analysis of the 7 moments and all of those numbers are very specific numbers. It just cannot be nothing. It has to say something. Like, there is something there. They're hinting for something. And I feel like you are onto something. And armies with all of these theories are onto something because they usually get things right and I get things wrong. So I'm just going to wait for it. Thank you so much for your comment. And yeah, I feel like maybe. I feel like maybe. So that would be August 28th. August 28th. I feel like that's also possible because by the end of June, they're all going to be here. J-Hope and Jin still have schedules for July. But by the end of August, maybe you guys are right. I think maybe your guys are into something. When is Jin's tour ending? I believe at the beginning of July. I swear, if it's a pop-up store, oh my goodness. If it's another pop-up store, I just can't. Like I like the pop-up stores, but it's like, come on, you don't have to hint all of this just for a pop-up store. I'm begging, big kid, like please stop. The Dallas concert is mid-July. I thought their last Jin's last concerts were. Wait, let me see. Let's go to BTS. I feel like I live in this website, guys. I live here. Because here is BTS's entire discography. So I just go and look up the information there and the track list and everything. So I go to Jin. No, it's tour. Mm, so August 10. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's not July. It's August. So by the beginning of August, Amsterdam. Okay. So if it goes all the way to August, maybe they can still do something by August, but now I'm doubtful. Now I don't know. Now I'm not so sure. Now I'm not so sure. Jin might have his parts done already. Listen, I don't even want to think about that. Like I get so nervous about this stuff. I'm just going to let BTS do their thing. They can take as long as they want. And yeah, like I said, I don't think BTS is going to release something on quarter 3. I feel like they would do something on quarter 4. So which one is quarter 4? So January, enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre. So on October, I feel like they're going to release maybe something in October. October, maybe September, October, December, but that like last quarter of the year. But we'll see. We'll see. So I'm just gonna go and I'm going to wait for Jimmy Fallon show, and I will try to find a link and yeah, just look at the Jimmy Fallon show. So please stay tuned for Jin's performance at Jimmy Fallon. And I don't know, I'm just so excited. So see you guys on Friday, as always, with my sister at 6 p.m. ET. So that is all, and thank you so much, everyone, and see you on Friday. Bye. I never say bye. I never know how to say bye. But anyways, here's the elevator music or whatever.